welcome to the show. This is The Journey with Dark Odyssey. And we are Dark Odyssey, and we're here to talk about all things paranormal. Today we're going to introduce ourselves a little bit. We're going to get into some stories about the paranormal, some experiences that we've had, and we're just going to get right to it. I mean, I'm Joe Rice.
I'm Cole.
Jofu.
Chris.
April.
Tina.
And we're here to discuss our paranormal experiences. So, does anybody want to step up and start? Or should I?
Why don't you start since you're running the show?
Okay, let's do this. Basically, I've been experiencing the paranormal for most of my life. I've seen a lot of weird things. I've seen some stuff I can't explain. Some things in particular. I used to live off of Ada Drive, which is basically my backyard was Baron Hirsch Cemetery, and we used to get a lot of crazy things going on in there. I mean, I've had friends over playing video games, and we're just hanging out, and we'd order pizza, and about 3 of us just happened to notice that the pizza box opened up and then closed again, and something like that freaks you out because there's no possible way that just happened, but it did.
There was nobody by the pizza box.
No, everybody was playing video games, sitting on the floor or on the couch.
Cool. It's wild.
And there was only like, I'd say between 3, 5 of us, maybe the most. And nobody was in the kitchen. And you can see the kitchen, it's wide open. It's part of the living room, extended living room.
You know my next question, right?
What's that?
Was there any pizza in there?
Same situation, same apartment. I don't know if it was a few weeks before or after, but you know, there was a lot of weird stuff going on, and probably the same crew. We were hanging out, and you know, same thing, kitchen scene, and off the kitchen table, the bread just lifted up into the air and spun around, and then just put itself right back down again, and it was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. No words to explain it besides just, you know, you get scared but excited because, you know, it's nothing threatening, but it's like, what the hell did I just see?
Wow.
So, you know.
Did you guys try to figure out what it was? Did you?
No, we
do
just
anything,
went back to playing video games because
okay.
stuff like that kept happening. And it was just, you know, okay, we just saw that. That's crazy. And I just went back to living my life. You know, maybe my friends left and told everybody that they knew. But to me, it was just another day in that apartment. It was crazy.
Which button on the remote made the bread move?
The bread just...
It definitely wasn't the X button.
Oh, I can picture Joe like sitting there with his friends, like they're playing video games, and like the loaf of bread is, you know, flung across the room, and Joe's like, "Yep, I'll catch it."
Didn't miss a beat. I'm still alive. Yes.
Just a normal day in the life of, you know.
Wow. That's crazy.
How about you guys? Anybody got a story?
I mean, I've never had anything directly happen to me, at least that I can remember, you know, or that I'm aware of, I guess. But yeah, since we started this whole project, you know, I've been in the presence of people as they've had things happen to them, and so I've shared in the experience, and yeah, what you're saying is you know, hitting the nail on the head. You can't really put it into words because, like, you know that something just happened, but you don't really know why or what's happening. And I mean, I won't tell the story because it happened to you directly, so I'll let you tell it. But
they'll hear that story. I could tell it now if you want, but they're going to see it real firsthand.
True.
In one of our episodes. But you want me to give away some goodies? That's fine. Yeah. So we were in an abandoned tunnel and investigating what we thought was practice. Turned out to be really real. And I know this because I'm the one who got touched. I felt a hand grab my arm, not once, but twice. Once up here and once down here. And Cole was how many feet away from me? 8 feet away.
yeah,
Hey.
not close enough to grab you, but close enough.
Close enough to see
that
it.
we're in the same room together, and I was there with the camera.
I can tell you.
And I didn't see anything. Yeah.
Nobody was near me. And I felt a hand grab me 2 different times, and I was freaked. But yeah, I'm a believer now. But it's amazing that once you open your eyes, what you start to see and what you start to feel. I know now there's something, some kind of entity or some kind of presence in my house. I don't know if we brought it home. We seem to think that we brought it home. It could have already been there based on the fact that we weren't open our eyes to that. But
It's a whole new world.
Yeah. It's like, wow. Now that I can see and now that I can feel, I know there's a being here. I already seen it on my security cameras. You know, we use security cameras on our recordings and our investigations. I saw something, and I wasn't recording at the time, unfortunately, but I definitely saw it, and I was freaked.
You saw it like in real time as
in
you
real
were...
time. I happened to be looking at that camera because I thought the cats were doing something in the room. I have 4 cats, and everybody's sleeping, even the cats, and there was this looked like a being just go across the camera like this and into a door and disappear.
Wow.
Consistently walking, and it's not even walking, kind of floating because it didn't bob like a person would walk.
Right.
Not only the first time. That being been seen in the bedroom, been seen in the bathroom by multiple people in my house.
Wow.
3 different people. So we know that there's something hanging around the house. We don't know if it's someone related to us or is it something that we brought home from either a practice investigation or from our real investigations. We don't know. So, but it's wild. I'll just say that.
Wow.
But totally a believer now.
It's awesome. Anybody else?
I mean, I see crazy stuff all the time.
I was just thinking the same thing. I'm like, where do we start?
He says this. Not on the job. Not on the job.
No, I don't mean on the job. I mean, sometimes it could be on the job. I mean, I've seen some crazy stuff on jobs where it's just, just sit there and keep quiet to myself because I'm just like, that person's not there.
Any experiences you want to share?
I don't know. I guess I could share when I was little. When I was little, my mother always thought that I was having nightmares or something. I was never actually scared, but she always thought that something was going on and couldn't figure out exactly what it was. But it seems as though what I was actually seeing might have been a relative who had died in the room that I lived in.
Wow.
So.
That's crazy.
So I'd always sit in a rocking chair in front of the radiator and rock back and forth. Didn't really say much of anything unless she actually wanted to. And when she did, she just kind of spoke Italian. I don't really speak Italian, so the only thing I know is to tell people to shut up.
We
She
know
knew
that.
English quite well.
Yeah, that transcends language, I think.
Now, did the rocking chair actually rock?
There was no rocking chair.
Very important to point out.
Yes.
Whoa, I didn't
Awesome.
see that one coming.
Awesome. And ladies?
Listen, I've had, like Chris, so many, but the one that keeps popping in my head is my brother and I were sitting in the living room. We were sitting in front of the fire, and we're just like this, having a conversation. And I started to say to him, hey, I feel like somebody's coming up behind me and putting their hands on my shoulder. And as I go to say it and I look at him, I see his face like this. And I said, what's going on? He goes, there's a guy walking up behind you with a little bowler hat on. He goes, he's putting his hands on your shoulder. I can't believe you knew he was there. And it was like, stuff like that happened all the time. It was just, and we saw, where we lived at that time, we saw a lot of things. My daughter was 3 at the time, and she used to ask us why so many people were going in and out of the kitchen to the den. We just told her they were friends, Oh, friends. Unc's having some people over, it's okay. And you've had some crazy experiences. I've been there for some of them.
Yes. In my old house, we had a lot of experiences where one actually possessed April.
Wow.
Hey.
Yeah. To the point that it wasn't the same voice. It wasn't.
Yeah, that was freaky.
Wow.
Yeah, her eyes
Yeah.
changed. Yeah, that was interesting.
Give us a little. I'm better now.
But am I?
Wouldn't this make for a better show?
There's a lot of
Play that
weird
angle.
different things. The one thing that really stands out in my mind is one time my ex-husband, which when he watched this, he'll remember it. When I would notice that things would move, like what you experienced, and they would move when I was really emotional and mad. Like one time we had a huge fight, and I was furious, and we had a big jar, mason jar of brown rice, and it just flew off the shelf and aimed at him,
Oh.
but hit the wall instead and smashed.
Yeah.
If he's what he will remember this.
He will remember, yes.
And it was crazy because how'd that even happen? And wishing it had hit him, but yeah,
Warning shot.
a lot of crazy things. I think.
Marbles in your attic. We all heard
Oh,
that.
yeah. we had multiple children, I guess spirits of children, and we would always hear them playing marbles in the house.
Yeah.
And we used to live together in that house, and we would hear them playing the marbles and games and
Or the person going up and down the stairs, very annoying.
yeah.
It's like, come on, trying to sleep, up and down, up and down.
Jiggling
up and
the
down,
bathroom
jiggling the
door.
bathroom door.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Sounds like my old
That's
apartment.
scary. You know, when you experience these events, I mean, they change you. They change you. I mean, for you ladies, it's part of your life, your existence, and you know your connection, you know, as well as you. But for people like Joe, Cole, and myself, you know, it's something that really opened your mind to a whole new world where, you know, it's like you're not sure what you saw, but you know you saw it, you know you felt it, you know you sensed it, and you change. You change. And like with Joe, it you know, it opened him up. Now he's
But
kind
you
of
know what?
seeing things.
That
I mean,
wasn't the first time, though, I experienced something weird. When my uncle passed away, and this was maybe 15 years ago, I'm probably wrong with that, but way back, we were at his funeral in the church. All the doors are closed. There's no moving air. And they're talking, and they mentioned him specifically in the sermon. And they had these two, like, not flags, but banners that hung. The one on the right side, closest to our family, all of a sudden starts waving back and forth and back and forth. And everyone looks at each other, and my aunt's just like, he's here.
yeah.
That's him. He was a jokester. Always loved messing with people.
Wow.
And even in the afterlife, we're like, he's going to taunt us now. This is it. Like, now he's free to roam everywhere. Like, this is bad. But, like, what
Maybe that's
was...
what touched your arm.
You never know. I didn't tell you everything from that reading, so... But seriously, though, that everyone looked at each other. We were about to cry, and we were like, no, that's a good sign. That he's basically showing us, hey, you know, like, I'm still around. And
Absolutely.
Don't
I'm
forget,
doing
Yeah.
I'm here.
So don't cry because I'm going to be messing with you people. And then as soon as they stop the sermon and stop talking about him, nothing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you
That
know,
is, yeah.
it's so interesting because it goes beyond having that like psychic ability that we're talking about, right? Because we had another shared experience, everyone that's sitting at this table here, and
Yeah.
our tech
Right.
guy included, where we were, you know, I don't know, again, maybe 5-10 feet away from each other, and we could feel a drastic drop in temperature move around the room, and when you can feel physical changes in like temperature and like air pressure and
And our
things like
instruments.
that. Yeah, and
Absolutely.
it's
They
just-
showed the 5-degree temperature dip
it's a whole nother
while
ball
standing
game.
still.
Yeah. It's amazing.
You know, it wasn't just we felt it, we registered
Right.
on instruments.
Right, it wasn't that we
Yeah.
thought we felt it. It was like it happened.
It happened. There was no doubt about
amazing.
that. And that was a group shared experience.
Yeah.
That was
I think
that
a
was
lot of-
something else.
I think that's a lot of times it when it becomes like a group, it's a group of people who have a like-minded frame of mind, and,
Yeah, absolutely.
and it kind of attracts it. So
Sure.
I think that plays
Yeah.
a huge role in it. Like we had an experience in one of our circles,
I knew you were going there.
and in the house where all this activity happened that we lived in, we're welcoming in a new member who, and just to put it out there, there's a lot of young people out there that like to play with the idea
Yeah.
of demons and dark entities and not realizing they really do exist.
Sure.
And we were welcoming in this new member and not realizing until she was in circle that there was something attached to her, with her.
Which I got to see.
She got to see.
Lovely, I'm sure.
And during circle, without
Yeah.
anyone touching the altar,
Yeah.
this demon or entity lit the altar on fire.
Oh wow.
It went
Yeah.
up.
Wow.
We all just, and everyone in the group knew
Yeah.
it was her. We all just stood back and said, "You have to leave.
Yeah.
You have to go." And
Didn't happen last week, so
no, this is quite a few years ago. But it was
It was
an experience.
yeah, and again,
It
it's
was.
like, how do you refute that? It's like that just happened. It's like
Yeah.
we all
Yeah.
just saw it, you know.
And I try to keep an open mind, and analyze, find basis in the real world, so to speak, of what happened, what occurred, how it could have happened, with certain things, you just can't.
Right.
it's-
When you exhaust
it's
all other possibilities.
all logical
the,
explanations, if there's, it's paranormal. It definitely
by
is.
definition, right?
And
Oh,
I
yeah.
think it's more shocking now because we're in an age of technology and we're in an age of left brain
Yeah.
dominant thinking. And
That
I
more
think
logical thinking.
Exactly.
Absolutely, yeah, I agree with that.
so more people are apt to say, "Oh, it was this or it was that," or just speak it away. Whereas 300 years ago, this was more accepted. This was more our ancestors when
Yeah.
they performed circle and family members and
It was, you know, it was
they were like,
commonplace.
oh yeah, this is normal. Or
Yeah.
doing a spiritual healing. Or,
Normal to that part of the community, but not to the open community, because we know a lot of bad things happen when people who didn't understand found out that people were doing stuff like this.
Yes, our ancestors were burned. Well,
Yeah.
no, who they thought.
Who they
were the
thought.
witches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
They didn't burn the actual witches.
I mean, the
Which is
whole Salem.
heartbreaking.
the
But
whole
that was the whole point. That was the whole reason. These people believed it.
Yeah.
So it was still, even though they reacted in a certain way, it wasn't discounted.
And you know that through the whole Salem witch trials, only one person was put to death, and she would not, say that, she would not confess. That's the only reason. She wouldn't confess. So that anybody who confessed was just okay.
Everyone else that was killed were not witches.
We're not witches.
Yeah. Well, the one specific I'm talking about in Salem, only one person was actually killed. Only one person. And I think they pressed her with the rocks. But only because she would not confess to being a witch. And the ones who did confess to being a witch weren't killed. They might have been locked up or whatever. I have to look back. And
No, there were quite a few killed.
They were killed.
history
But
says
none of them
different,
were
though.
witches.
No.
History says different.
And it
History
was a
says a
man
lot of
that
things
they
that are
crushed.
Yeah, there you go.
I know that what I read up on the subject, only one woman was killed, and it's because she
History,
didn't confess.
history is made up of
Everybody else confessed.
of facts.
And that's
that
when
people
that's what
decide.
they were damned
Exactly.
if they did and damned
Yeah.
if they didn't. You
Yeah,
go to
exactly.
Gallows Hill in Salem,
Uh-huh.
you can feel it. You
Yeah.
know. And that's exactly, the graves are there.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people
Well,
killed.
I did an investigation up at Denver State Mental Institution. It's no longer there, unfortunately. Only the main structure is, and they built condos around the rest of it. But the actual judge who presided over those witch trials, that was actually his land. And then a couple hundred years later, they built a mental institution on his property. Yeah, it was a crazy story. And all these atrocities took place there. That place was shut down, and that was it because of all the stuff that was going on. People chained to the walls and all the atrocities that took place in the 18 and 1900s with the mental patients. But
Yeah.
did an investigation there. That place was off the charts. That was really wild.
And it
was
kind of makes you wonder. It's when we do cleansings and you get all that activity and just to help people, like we did at the last
Yeah.
investigation,
Right, we
crossed
needed,
somebody over.
To give you a little sneak peek, yeah, we needed.
There's
called for
so
that,
many souls that
Yeah.
don't know.
We did not
Yeah.
expect that.
No,
at
we
all.
didn't.
Just
Yeah.
we
That
stumbled
was-
in there looking for other members of the team, and we happened to come upon that spirit. I'm glad we had you available to us for that because we would never know that was there.
yeah.
Right, and what
Yeah,
about
right.
Cole? He wasn't even with us, and he ended up coming back with us. He
Yeah.
wasn't even supposed to be there,
Right.
and that was
he
meant
was
to be.
supposed to be there, yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's
technically, yeah.
on the physical realm he wasn't, but in spiritual they were like, no, you need to come this way. We need you. So
Yeah, it was awesome.
And that
was very cool.
concerns me with young people today when they play with things like that
Yeah.
or Ouija boards.
oh,
And it's
Ouija
Don't get them
boards.
started.
Don't look at me. Why you gotta look
But,
at
you
me
know,
for?
You're the one who brings that up all the time.
It's dangerous.
All the time.
It's dangerous.
It is
and
dangerous.
There's a lot of young people that do that because I don't know if they need the stimulation or the excitement or it's like a roller coaster ride, but they don't realize what they're opening up. And
listen,
you know,
I learned my lesson.
Did
I
you?
did.
Yeah.
You know what? Dark entities are real.
Yes, they are.
They're real.
My experience with the Ouija board. because I was into the paranormal and, you know, wanting to find out and research and stuff like that, I would have sessions with me and a bunch of friends. And at the time, it was my girlfriend. And it would be me and her on the board. And somebody would sit there with a pad and write down everything that took place. And we did this for a few weeks. And, you know, we always started our sessions by saying certain words. And one time I didn't say these certain words. And the next thing I knew, I was speaking to something that was spelling out a name with literally like 15 letters in it that didn't really make sense to me. And before long, it was telling me it was going to kill me and everybody in my house.
15 letters, Balthazar.
Now it's
It's the longest name I know.
And,
right.
I eventually ripped the board up, burned it, and that was the end. I haven't touched one since.
well, it's wild that you said that because you know, as kids, it was the same thing. My friends and I, you know, we they wanted to do a Ouija board, and you know, had to be there. April, you know, you got to be there, and same thing. You know, it was you know they were asking those questions. Oh, who am I going to marry? And, you know, and one of the times it said to me when we said, "What do you want?" It says, "I want you." And I said, "Well, you can't have me." And it said, "Well, then we'll have your brothers." And shortly after, so I went home. You know, I was like, "Ah!" You know, and put little palm crosses on the back of my brother's beds because you know I didn't. I'm like, I don't know what to do at that
Yeah.
point. I was young, and one of my brothers had some serious things happen to him. And when I went back and looked, the palm cross was off the bed. So he and we tried to get rid of that Ouija board. We actually went, and back then, we were young, we were 13, 14, and we took a bus and we went and we tried to get rid of it, and we come back and the damn thing's in the house, and we're like, okay, wait, what? And we did this a couple of times, and
And her brother actually would say that
Yep.
the issues that he had were from these
From-
dark entities that came for him. They
Yep.
wanted him.
and
Crazy, wow.
So note to young people out there, do not play
Nope.
with things you don't know about.
I don't know
Exactly.
if we're allowed to curse, but you can bleep it out. It is real.
Yeah.
yeah, it
It's
is.
very real.
It is. You don't mess with
Yeah,
that.
you don't want to find out the wrong way.
sure.
You know, to see something in a place, it's benevolent, it does its thing, see it from a distance, that's one thing. But
And
to
that's
call
just it.
things and
you don't
invite,
always know if it's
Yeah.
benevolent.
Nope.
You
Yeah.
don't always know. And
A lot of trickster
yeah.
things out there too.
yeah,
Wow.
we've come across a couple of those too. Funny stuff, but
Well,
as long as we, you know,
they
we
said
have the
there
right
was a
protection,
jokester, right?
I feel
Yeah.
confident, you know.
There was a jokester, and then there was a dark other being
Yep.
we were referring to as
Yeah.
something else.
Yeah.
I just keep thinking about the day that I went into that into the basement by myself, and behind me in a line, the ceiling was coming down as I was
Yes.
walking.
Oh, jeez.
Yes, yes, and I heard that from above because we were on the floor above you.
All right, and I heard you like, "What was that?"
And we weren't standing over you, so we weren't causing that.
Right.
But we did hear you from up the stairs. You remember
I remember
right?
that, yep.
Yeah, wild.
Wow. Yeah, it's you know, it's the unknown. It's stuff we don't understand for the most part, at least on our side, you know. And that's, you know, it's key to why you guys are here. Help us understand, help us see more, and find that proof. And
Yeah.
bring it to the people. That's the main goal.
Well, I think that to me, sometimes there's so much proof, but you'll always get people who just they will not want to accept it or see it.
Right.
It-
A lot of
it's
that is
just-
fear.
Yeah.
A lot of that is
absolutely.
fear.
And there's a lot of, like we talk about paranormal, and paranormal is a whole host of different things.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you have
Aliens,
spirits
yeah.
and, right, aliens,
Bigfoot.
otherworldly beings. So,
Yep.
and they are, interdimensional.
Yeah.
You have, there's so many.
It's a variety of things out there that you got to be careful with. You don't want to mess with, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And but you know, that's the interesting part. We go out, we look for these things, we try to debunk or prove it one way or the other. That's my goal. You know, either debunk it or prove it. Not everything that people say is a ghost is actually a ghost, and sometimes it is. You know.
What about orbs?
Well, it depends on the orbs.
We've captured orbs. mostly our security cameras and night vision. A lot of us tend to want to believe that that's something, that's some kind of energy.
We've also captured bugs, but they're definitely bugs.
Yes,
And
but
we've
the
also
bugs
captured
looked
things
like
that are
bugs.
definitely not bugs.
What was it, a moth or something that was
Yeah.
big? It was obvious.
Right.
And we froze frame and it was this big and it
And
looked
you
just
see
like
the
that.
wings and
yeah,
you
it's
see
the
the
wings and
whole
everything.
thing.
But these orbs are like little balls. Some of
Translucent.
them actually come up to the camera and then go on the merry way.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
doesn't look like a bug. It doesn't, look like it's
Doesn't-
just a piece of dust floating through the air because there's nothing else there to make it move and to make it change direction like that. That makes me think there's something there. I know you're going to say an orb is nothing. 'Cause
Well,
you said it.
I'm not going to say an orb is nothing. I'm going to say the majority of what we've witnessed, especially in the place you're talking about, the house, the mansion. To me, I saw nothing out of the ordinary, besides dust and reflecting light and stuff like that. And, the wind movements in the room from people, could make things change direction. I didn't see anything that I would deem paranormal. I saw dust.
All right, so
But what
much
do you
was
think
dust?
an orb is?
What do I think an orb is? The orbs we saw, I thought were dust.
No, but what, in general, like if you saw orbs.
If I saw an orb,
With his own eyes, you mean?
Um,
With his third?
probably a spirit, of some sort, But I haven't seen one, not especially what he's referring to. It was, we were in an old mansion, it was 155 years old, not very well cleaned or kept. They probably haven't vacuumed in years. They don't clean like that. And that's all dust. You walk across the carpet, it comes up. You touch the furniture that's in there, it comes up, and it moves around. And that's what I saw.
Not every room had carpet, though.
No, but still.
Well, if you really want to go into that, Joe, a lot of those orbs or dust particles, as you seem to say, you think they are. They were barely there when there were actually people in the room. When people were no longer in the room, there was way more of it.
Oh, yeah.
So you're telling me that everyone leaving the room and it sitting for an hour with nobody in it, there's still going to be movement of dust of that caliber?
To some extent, yes. Yes. Because as we watched a lot of that footage, we realized that windows were open at the top. We witnessed curtains moving from the wind, even though the windows were closed, because it's a 155-year-old mansion.
Airtight building.
It's no longer the wood expands and contracts, and the building, shifts slightly and, leans more to one side. It's just age
But
taking
is
its
it
toll.
enough to kick up that much dust?
I saw a lot of them after we would walk through, and yeah, I'm sure nobody's taken a curtain off those windows and cleaned them. I'm sure there's a layer of dust on there, and nothing paranormal. I'm the first to say, okay, that's something different. That's not something of this world. I'm the first to agree with it, but if it doesn't fit a certain criteria, it's not. It's not. This is dust in an old mansion.
All right, the reason I brought this up. Remember how I said that I now have a spirit in the house, or now we're open to it and we've noticed it?
Okay.
I've had security cameras for a few years.
Sure. Yeah. I see where you're
Watch
going
that
with this.
footage all the time. Always looking at it, making sure people coming and going out of the house, make sure everyone's safe, blah, 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 who came home, who didn't come home. Now, recently, I've noticed orbs on one particular camera, down by my front door. Nobody's around, everyone's sleeping, and it's just moseying around. Dust, if it moves, it might settle, maybe it moves across a little bit. These things fly. And they have purpose in their flight. It almost looks like like amoeba, where it's in liquid and it's purposely moving around. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
How do you say that that's dust?
Because
And I've never
all
seen
right.
that before. And now, ever since we've noticed spirits or spirit in the house,
That is super
Now that I'm
interesting.
seeing
Well,
orbs on my
just to back
camera.
up what you said, in our old store, we had security cameras, and I love security camera footage because there's nothing could be planned or
Right.
whatever. And it was right after we had a yoga teacher there, and she had left, and I don't know why we were looking at the cameras for some
I
reason.
remember we were checking them for.
And we were checking the
Something.
cameras, and the lights went off. They had left, and as soon as they shut the door, you saw all these orbs. Shoo, shoo,
It
like
was
just-
a party.
and it wasn't
They
even
were
like moving
huge.
slow.
They were like huge.
Huge,
Yep.
flying back and forth.
It was
and,
like,
all
"Hey,
over.
we're alone.
That's
we're
what I
like, are you?
remember.
And we're going, are you seeing this?
Yeah.
Are you seeing this?
And it wasn't like, like dust
Yeah,
that
it
was
was wild.
floating in
It
the
was really
air.
cool.
There was purpose in flight.
Yep.
We were going back and forth, and we all on the security cameras.
Well, I see them now. So my grandson, they have, one of those baby monitors.
Yeah.
So whenever he would go in and go to sleep, I'd notice these orbs dancing around the crib. So I did a rice. I went in, I shut the lights off, those, I shut the fan off, I made sure the windows were closed, and I closed the door, and I sat and I watched. And I waited, and it was like dead nothing. I'm like, all right. And then about maybe 7 minutes in, all of a sudden I saw this thing like just slowly come across. It almost stopped at the camera, like as if to say, hey, we're here. And then went by his crib, came back down, like 3 or 4 of them. I'm going, oh my God. It's always watching over him when he goes to sleep. You can't dispute that.
Now, I'm not going to dispute anything you guys are saying because I'm not there to see it. I did see what you're referring to, Joe.
Right.
And that's why I'm kind of disputing it. I'm not there, so I don't know. And I don't
None
know
of
what
us
you
really
guys saw.
know, but
But my thing with what you're saying, and hear me out though, don't jump right away, is that you're looking for this now. Now your mind is trained to see this. The human brain has mechanisms that look for faces in things. Like we have a picture of a still from the mansion. Looks like a face.
yeah.
Well, your brain is trained to see that.
Right.
But I have a question with that, if I may. See, you say your brain is trained to see that once you're looking for it. But what if it's the opposite? What if, because we're in a technical age, that we've worked so much just with left brain, that now, because we're just becoming more open to it, there are things that our higher selves, our aura, or our ethereal body should be seeing. These are things that is an ability that innately we have, but we've shut down. And maybe you're debunking it or disputing it, which is normal, but that's just still the left brain, that left brain saying, no, holding on, so to speak.
Why?
But yet,
I've seen these things with my own eyes.
but that's my point. My point is, what if it's not so much that we're trained to see these things that we want to see them, but the fact that innately we have the ability to see what's really there.
Granted, I'm not going to dispute anything you just said, but I'll take you into what we're doing. We're staring at cameras for hours looking for something to go on that's not normal. And how many times just the planes in the background through the night vision. What's that? What's that? What's that? Or when we didn't know the window was open in that upper bedroom with the door where we had the toys. We had
Right,
no
when
idea,
that thing
and
fell
we were all like,
Oh,
we were all like,
Yes.
whoa,
We spent a
what?
good,
What?
like, hour
we jumped
on
up. We were ready to call the networks.
What was that? It was a cloak
It was-
or something on a chair and it fell.
It was a paper towel.
It wasn't a paper towel. It was something.
It was like
plastic
it was a
bag.
garbage bag.
Garbage bag.
like
But then it
flapping.
landed on the floor
No,
and then
it
it
was
was, like,
moving
moving.
very
There was a
subtly.
paper
and
towel
it
that,
looked like
that
it was
dropped
picking
off. The paper towel dropped off the chair, and the garbage bag
Yeah.
kept moving. And we were ready to call the networks. We were ready to call NASA. We're looking for this.
We're calling
Why
NASA.
not? Anyone.
Why not?
Get 'em on
Who's
board.
ever going to
Because
listen?
the aliens are here.
There's an alien.
But do
a bad
more
one.
research, especially with the airplanes and the night vision, because it only looked like a speck. Because the night vision cameras were looking out in the room, and there happened to be windows.
Right.
And
Okay.
LaGuardia
Right.
and
So,
Newark.
okay. So I see where you're going
we
with that,
kept
right.
seeing things And yeah, we were able to, okay, after careful review, we debunked them.
Right.
But because you can't debunk if it's dust or not, you're going to think it's paranormal, but it's probably not.
I understand.
You
It's
know,
like a
so-
fine line. Right.
Yeah.
But all you can
Yeah.
say
So
is,
while you're looking and you want to find something,
Mm-hmm.
I need something more than what could be just mistaken as
But
dust
that's why you
floating
have
through.
so many other eyes, right?
you just said it.
Right.
though.
Like we did last week.
It could be. That's all you have to say.
Right.
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 We're never going to know that is this or this is that, but it could be an energy.
Let's
It
just
could be.
remember one thing. With the song by the Police, we are spirits in the material world.
Yep.
And that's the truth. It's the truth. We only rented this, right? So we really have an ability to interact with even otherworldly beings like aliens. I mean, talk about another experience. We were, again, in the house we lived in. A lot of activity in that house.
I know.
And
Really, it was quite a cool house. I guess.
Somebody took a picture of her, and standing behind April was a gray alien.
Yeah.
In
it
the
was
photo,
wild.
you didn't see the alien at the time that
Nope.
night, but full face, like in the photo.
And we didn't feel anything either.
Yeah,
Wow.
So
Just
that's
kinda
how
snuck in there.
it wasn't like when you experience
Where's
spirit
the
or
picture?
paranormal.
I think Dorinda.
I asked. She thinks it's on the old phone, and
Right, we did ask about this picture before.
I know.
did.
We,
And
we
we
did
did try to
trying
ask
to
her.
find that.
Yes.
Somebody
We are
has
trying-
it.
somebody
It's gotta
has
be.
it. I'm hoping-
There's got to be like
I'm
I can
hoping.
pull up archives.
I'm hoping
of
my brother
pictures.
has it somewhere. I mean, I'm hoping because we sent him a lot of the stuff we did.
Yeah, there's got to be. There's a cloud out there.
I mean, look, I used to go on investigations and snap digital pictures. And there's one particular place, an old abandoned place where priests would go on to
Monastery?
clergy would become priest or whatever.
A monastery?
But it's not a monastery.
Friary?
No,
Friary?
it was a I forget the correct terminology
Okay,
for
moving
it.
along.
So yeah, they went to study there and become priest eventually.
Seminary.
Yes, seminary school.
My
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
I think we're on Jeopardy.
Thank you. I was like, oh my god.
You got to answer the question. What is a seminary? So I walked around the grounds inside the building, and I snapped hundreds of pictures. And literally 90% of all my pictures had faces, things that can only be explained as skeleton-looking objects with 20-foot legs up off the building, just like crazy stuff. Monks with hoods, beards, full beards, you could see them. Another one in the back with a staff, like a wizard in the picture, but it must have been a monk. And there was no explanation. These things were in the pictures. So when I see something real and something tangible, I don't deny it. But I can't stand up for what they're calling orbs. It's disputable at this point because, there's just no real proof in that.
So where's the monastery pictures?
Yeah, they're lost on the internet. They're out there on the web somewhere.
They're conveniently
what?
Technically, it never goes away.
It's on
so
the internet. It's never gone.
maybe.
Yeah,
Somewhere.
there has to be a way to
Maybe.
retrieve
Well, so can we
it,
go
right?
back and take more pictures? And you'll be like, that place isn't there anymore.
Right.
It's not.
See?
It's not. They tore
Another
it down.
convenient
We have to
thing.
find a way to retrieve
Well,
those
I
pictures.
will
Fox, you
get
have to find these things.
I will. I have
Scared-
pictures
scared,
somewhere that I
Stand
will
on Staten
bring.
Island photos.
My oldest daughter, since the time she's born, talking about orbs, has always had a white orb. Now, back then, we were like, all right, it's the flash of the camera, this and that. But other people in my family were taking pictures at the same time. They never had this flash. And as she got older, the orbs got bigger and more significantly placed. So there's one where she's sitting on my lap, and this orb is as tall as I am. You see, it's no longer an orb. You see the head, you see the shoulders, and you see the arm around her. And she has had, it's only her, out of all my kids have had these orbs around her since she's born. And those pictures I can get because either she has them or Petey has them. Because Petey asked us for copies of them. And my mom pulled out a picture the other night, and she went like this, and there's all of us, and the orbs right on her again. I got to grab that picture from her.
See, stuff like that, I'm more apt to look into and
only her.
and say there's something different here. But, like I keep saying, it's the the old dusty house.
Yeah, we have to find that
Why
picture.
is there dust flying? That's I can't do that for the viewers.
Right.
I'm not going to say something that I don't believe. I believe in paranormal. I absolutely do.
We're gonna find that alien picture.
But
We gotta
I
find
can't
Full
say
on
something
gray.
is when I
We
have,
have to find it.
doubts, and I will never. And I will never do that. It's not fair to the people.
That's why this
Integrity.
group is good because
Integrity,
the yin
man.
and the yang,
Yeah.
Now, that's not to say what you believe is wrong, and I'm not saying that, please, whatsoever. Don't get me wrong. But, I can't jump on that bandwagon that it's proof. If there's, maybe in all, we saw literally thousands of orbs. Literally. Okay, I can't say every one of those was just us, but
But maybe the ones that stopped in front of the camera and changed trajectory were.
I still can't. No, I
Think,
still can't.
think about. There's one in particular that I can't get out of my head from.
Yes,
this
the
shoot.
wispy one.
That the wispy one that moved as if it had a delay in it.
It looked to me like a small feather.
It was, but it was almost round and translucent, completely translucent in the center, with a ring around it.
Listen, I'm all game to look for paranormal, find it, and show it to the audience. I just certain things I have to be sure on, and that stuff I'm definitely not. Full-bodied floating apparition, yeah, I'm all on it.
No, I doubt it. I think you'd be running out the door.
Well, yeah.
Hey, get that shot!
Yeah, exactly.
Probably.
Go in the closet. I'll be outside.
Right behind you. Right behind you.
Yeah.
That'll always be the line. I'm right behind you.
Get in the,
Right behind you.
behind
Climb
you.
down
Cole
that
knows.
ladder and see if there's a
Cole
hole. I'm right
knows.
behind you.
I'll be right behind you. Don't worry. And I was.
To your
I
credit,
asked
you
Joe
were.
to climb down the rusty old ladder
which I did.
Listen.
into the flooded semi-tunnel, whatever was there. We had no idea. There was stuff all in the water.
And I would have been right behind you if there were anywhere to
And
go
he
down
got
there.
down that
I-
couple of rungs, and my feet were on top. And he's like, "No, we can't go no
So it
further."
wasn't behind me. It was on top of me.
Yes, it was on top of
Sure, you
you.
want people to know that?
Oh,
Again, out of my head. All night.
Yeah, some things we cannot disclose. But I mean, look, a lot of it is point of view and opinion to some extent. Until we actually get stuff on footage. I mean, we all witnessed and felt what was moving around us, the temperature changes and all that. But to the viewer, they don't see or feel it.
Right.
We didn't see it. We felt it. Mm-hmm. The viewer does not know that. The viewer only knows we're reacting. So to me, yeah, we have
they saw
proof.
it though.
Yeah.
I
They
know,
saw
but
it.
that's not the same. That's not what I'm
It
saying.
wasn't on camera.
Right.
Yeah,
We s-
nobody
We
else
didn't
could
capture
see
it
it.
with
it.
a visual eye.
Which
Nope.
is frustrating because
course.
even when we ran the film,
Right.
I said to, I was saying to Chris, it's right there. I see it. It's there.
But
I mean, we eventually did.
We eventually found.
We found something,
some weird shaping grasping
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
frame of the door.
Yeah.
But our viewers don't see anything.
Right.
And that's where we want to take this, definitive proof is something that everybody can see,
Right.
and that's what we want to do. We want to bring this otherworldly stuff to the mainstream to show people and open their eyes and their minds to what we see in ours. A lot of times we see ghosts, specifically, and I'm referring to you ladies as well, you see them with your third eye, not with your real eyes. So to the common person who's neither a skeptic or believer, just caught in the middle, well, they're just saying that, referring to people like us. Right. Well, they don't see it. And the world wants to feel and touch. And until we get to that point, we're just talking about stories.
Be
And that's-
curious how many people have stories like that. Like, like shoot us shoot something over to Dark Odyssey's Facebook,
yeah.
and
Yeah,
if you got
yeah,
pictures
sure.
of something,
Sure.
let us see. You know,
Right.
Yep.
you know, there are so many people out there like, oh, people think I'm crazy. Well, we're here to tell you we don't
Right.
think you're crazy. So
Yeah.
you
Or if
guys have a
feel like-
Facebook, right? So
Yeah.
let them shoot those pictures over to your Facebook. That'd be
Absolutely.
awesome,
Absolutely.
right?
I mean, even if you think that there's something in your house, let us know.
Yeah.
If you
We'll
want to,
come
we'll
check
come
it
by.
out.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't
well,
want to say it myself
and
and
they'll
put everyone
cleanse
else
it
up
for
to
you.
it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We'll do an investigation if it merits that. You know, we'd love to interview people and see what goes on.
And if you want a cleansing after the fact, you want it out, hey, we'll
Yeah. We'll cleanse
get
the
it out.
house.
but
unless
what
you
are our
want it there.
sites? Tell the people.
I mean, you've got www.Dark Odyssey Paranormal, which is coming up. You've got our Facebook page, Dark Odyssey Paranormal. Check us out on YouTube.
Or you can instant message Magic Moon Sisters
Right.
At our Instagram.
Is at Magic Moon Sisters.
Or you can go on our website, www.magicmoonsisters.com, and you can send us a message if you feel like you have activity in your home and you want answers, you want to identify it, you want it cleansed. So shoot us a message or Dark Odyssey, and we'll check it out.
Yeah.
Dark
Absolutely.
Odyssey now is on
We wanna hear it.
Instagram and Twitter.
Yes.
So
Dark Odyssey team. Is that our Twitter handle?
I
Yeah.
believe so.
Yep,
I'm getting the nod, so yes.
Yes. Yes.
Trying to remember who's in charge of what. Yes, that is
Yes,
correct.
that is correct.
Check.
But send us your photos. Let us know if you got some things going on in your house you want it checked out. You know, we're not guaranteeing anything, but we will definitely look into it and get in touch with you. Please let us know. And you know, we want to thank the Magic Moon Sisters who are part of Dark Odyssey, but are a separate entity as well. We're in their shop filming this session, and we want to thank them for being our host today.
Absolutely,
And
yeah, thank you guys.
You're
come
welcome.
shop here and tell us what you do here.
Well, we do,
Do a little bit of everything.
everything, yeah. Healings, readings. So, yeah,
We have merchandise.
crystals, teas.
So come get your witch on. Come shop here.
Very nice. Nicely done.
And,
Nicely done.
You know, look for us on social media, Magic Moon Sisters and Dark Odyssey.
Yeah.
And thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Guys, it's been great. And we will see you next time.
Alrighty.
Awesome.